Welcome everyone to Merle's Pearls of Business Wisdom, where I discuss all things relationship and how they affect the workplace and maybe how they affect your whole life. I read an article online, of course, in Fast Company, where they interviewed David Brooks. He's a writer. He's a journalist, and he's written this book about how to know a person, the art of seeing other people and being deeply seen. So clearly he's getting philosophical. And one of the things he said that really made me think, how about that? It made me think about this, was his comment that how you decide to see the world. Now, first thing you have to listen to is the words he used. In other words, it's not how you see the world. It's how you decide to see the world. And that means that there isn't a way to see the world, that we each choose a way to see the world. And this gets into that whole philosophy is what is reality. Because everybody thinks that the way they think and the way they see the world is the way the world is. And that's only partially true. It is the way the world is for that person. But a different person sees the world differently, and that's the way the world is for that person. And that's why we have Democrats and Republicans. That's why we have every different kind of religion you can think of. Because we all see the world just a little bit differently. And that has an effect on what we do. So, and it has an effect on what we do. What's her name? The singer, oh God, I can't think of her now, that canceled 3 concerts in Germany because like 3 young people, they were 17, 19 or whatever, we're planning to wreak havoc and kill as many people as possible with some kind of a bomb threat. And they were recruited or brought to believe in ISIS online. And so now they saw the world in a way where before I finish talking, I'll remember her name, where that's a threat or where this is what they need to do. So the comment that David Brooks made was, how you see the world is a moral act. That's so interesting. Because we tend to see the world and think that we are either victimized for it or we're enabled and empowered by it. But I never thought of, and I never heard anyone else say, this is a matter of morals. That it's bad. It's morally corrupt to see the world in a way that causes you to do damage to the world. That's heavy stuff, really. And I haven't, I just read it yesterday and I said, oh, this has got to be interesting for my podcast. But I have to think about it more. And okay, David, I'll get your book because it's really an interesting concept. I understand and agree that how you see the world affects how you behave in the world. And that therefore it is damaging to see the world in a way that makes you want to kill people or have or feel so threatened and frightened that you have to arm yourself up like you're your own little army. So there's no question how you see the world has significant impact. And of course, the people in your world affect how you see the world. I think it was David and somebody else I was talking to. They had somebody, it was their mother, their grandfather, somebody in their world that said to them, that encouraged them. I guess I heard a lot about it also watching the Olympics, because I was amazed at how many Olympiads are children of Olympiads and or very active in sports, whatever competition. So how somebody sees you deeply and says to you, this, you have value, this is what you do really well, it will affect David Brooks. Heard he wrote well. It affects your whole life. So, and it affects how you see the world. And how, I don't know which is first. How you see the world is how you see yourself, or how you see yourself is how you see the world, or maybe they're two separates that connect to each other. But to say that how you see the world is a moral act, that's powerful. It maybe gives you a responsibility to choose in the world you live in those parts of it that will create good responses or will show good things in the world to make you feel good. I think it's interesting to put that much power on, or shall I say responsibility that we have for us in how we see the world. And of course, I mean, if it's our responsibility, then it is because it causes us to act in a particular way. Interesting. I'd love anybody that has any comments about it to write them, because it's a fascinating concept. I like the idea of putting the responsibility on the person, on each of us, that it is up to us to deal with the world and our world in a way that is positive for us and the world. Anyway, that's enough of conjecturing. I have to go get his book. And yes, maybe David Brooks will see this and comment on it, because it's worth discussing. I'd like to see it deeply. So everybody get his book and like and follow me, all the things that we always say. But I'd like to hear your answers. I'd like to hear your comments on how this goes. In the meantime, I'm going to say, auf Wiedersehen. This has been Merle's Pearls of Business Wisdom. And you can get me, first of all, go to relationshipmiracleworker.com/podcast. You can get all the podcasts. And you can look at my website in the meantime. Otherwise, go on Apple, all the different platforms, Spotify, whatever. Go to all the different platforms, any one that you happen to be using, and look for Merle's Pearls of Business Wisdom. And then listen to more. I'm also on YouTube. And that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.